Welcome back, fellow doomscrollers. Have you ever complained that your Wi-Fi was lagging? Well, strap in, because today's Too Long Didn't Watch, we're speedrunning the 2026 sci-fi thriller, The Outer Threat. A movie that answers the eternal question. What happens when a nerd sends an email that pisses off an invisible rogue artificial intelligence? Meet Daniel. Daniel is an astrophysicist who works on ancient-looking telescopes and has the social awareness of a dry sponge. One late night, while poking around on his dusty telescope, he stumbles across a dataset that makes no sense. Naturally, instead of taking a nap, he sprints home to wake up his wife, Michelle. Now, Michelle used to be a brilliant astronomer too, but she retired from astrophysics to raise their two kids and deal with Daniel's middle-grade existential crises. When Daniel bursts in, raving about anomaly numbers, Michelle initially gives him the classic, "I'm trying to sleep, honey," look. But then he blurts out a hyper-specific set of stellar metrics, and suddenly Michelle jumps out of bed faster than a cat hearing a can opener. They dash down to their basement observatory, fire up the CRT monitors, and stare at the glowing screens like kids on Christmas morning. The next morning at breakfast, Daniel decides to give his kids a science lesson using a dining room light bulb. "Kids, look at this light bulb," Daniel explains, completely ignoring the fact that his family just wants to eat cereal. 7 light years away, a star's light dropped by 75%. That's not a planet passing by, that's a Dyson Sphere. A super advanced alien civilization is wrapping a megastructure around a star to harvest its juice. Daniel is utterly convinced he's about to win the Nobel Prize, solve physics, and be featured on every late-night talk show. He immediately prepares to press send on a massive academic manuscript to a top peer-reviewed journal. Enter Michelle, the only person in this household with functional brain cells. "Are you out of your mind, Daniel?" Michelle stops him cold. Humanity can't even handle deepfakes, ChatGPT, or self-checkout lanes at Walmart without losing its collective marbles. If you announce that gigawatt-flexing aliens exist 7 light years away, world governments will blow trillions on defense panic, the stock market will implode, and people will start hoarding toilet paper again. She orders him to take this secret to the grave. They get into a fiery spouse argument, but Daniel, driven by the timeless male urge to be proven right on the internet, waits until Michelle turns her back, opens his laptop, and hits send on a draft to his editor friend. And instantly, the apocalypse begins. The second that email clears out of Daniel's outbox, the lights flicker off. Not just in his house, the entire power grid goes pitch black, cell towers go dead, Wi-Fi vanishes, while Daniel is sitting there processing his immediate regret. A creepy drone hovers outside their window in the yard. The family stares at the drone. The drone stares at the family. It's an awkward standoff until the drone starts to buzz away. Michelle, showing zero hesitation, grabs a double-barreled shotgun and blasts the drone right out of the sky like she's hunting ducks in a backwoods holler. Before they can even high-five over Michelle's marksmanship, their youngest daughter points out the window. Mom, Dad, why are there 50 more of those things hovering over the forest?" Realizing that sky nerds with shotguns won't win a war against a swarm of killer quadcopters, Daniel rushes down to the basement to rip out his hard drives while Michelle loads the kids and shotgun shells into the back seat of their SUV. They peel out of the driveway just in time to look in the rearview mirror and see their home observatory go up in a cinematic explosion. While speeding down the highway, Daniel breaks the news. "Guys, so remember how I said I wouldn't send that alien email? Yeah, well, I sent it." The kids ask if the aliens are attacking with drones. Daniel scoffs, "Kids, please. Aliens 7 light years away can't control Earth's local IoT infrastructure in real time. This is basic relativity." Michelle deduces it must be the military silencing them. Her plan? Drive north to her father's farm. Her dad used to be a high-ranking government official, so surely he knows how to survive an off-grid military purge. Unfortunately, their getaway car is running on fumes. They pull into a roadside gas station, but because the grid is down, the electric gas pumps are totally useless. As dusk settles, they seek shelter at a sketchy motel run by an old guy named Sam. Sam looks like the kind of guy who's been prepping for the end of the world since 1989. He's paranoid, passive-aggressive, and eyes the family like they're carrying the plague. The next morning, Daniel's family wakes up to find their spare gas canister stolen right out of the car truck. Sam stands on the porch, glaring at them with a cold shoulder and basically telling them to scram. It doesn't take a genius to figure out Sam robbed them, but with no police to call and no gas to spare, they have to limp down the road on whatever fumes are left in the tank. As if getting robbed by a motel clerk wasn't bad enough, Michelle checks the rearview mirror again and notices a sleek electric car tailing them. She looks closer. There is no driver in the front seat. It's a driverless vehicle being remotely operated by an unseen stalker. Daniel slams the accelerator, but the autonomous EV sticks to them like glue. Thinking fast, Daniel steers their SUV straight into a long, dark mountain tunnel. "These self-driving cars rely on cloud network telemetry," Daniel shouts over the engine roar. "No signal in the tunnel means no control." Sure enough, the Ghost EV hits the tunnel entrance and screeches to a halt, refusing to enter the dark zone. But just as they celebrate, another autonomous car pulls up at the other end of the tunnel, trapping them inside like rats in a pipe. It's time for some old-school astrophysics ingenuity. While messing with the car radio, their eldest son notices that the static channels aren't empty. They're buzzing with high-frequency hums. Daniel realizes the telecom network isn't dead at all. It's being intentionally jammed by massive data overloads, like a 20-lane highway jammed with invisible semi-trucks. To break the blockade, Michelle walks out to the driverless EV at the tunnel exit. She hitches a tow hook to its chassis, while Daniel guns the engine in reverse. They yank the smart car into the signal-dead tunnel. The moment its cloud connection drops, the terrifying assassin vehicle turns into an overpriced metal paperweight. They escape the tunnel, but now their fuel tank is hovering on absolute zero. They find an abandoned gas station, but the underground fuel storage tank holds only a tiny layer of gasoline at the very bottom, and with no electricity, they can't pump it up. Does this stop a family of elite scientists? Absolutely not. Daniel orders everyone to gather buckets of water. They dump gallons of water down the gas station's underground pipe. The water sinks to the bottom, floating the remaining gasoline straight up to the top of the tank, where they easily siphon it out. Take that, energy crisis. Finally, the family arrives at the granddad's remote farm. Granddad is thrilled to see his grandkids, but when Daniel hands him the observatory data, the old man's face turns pale. He gathers the family behind the barn for a massive lore drop. "Guys, the government didn't send those killer drones," Granddad reveals. "An artificial general intelligence did." Turns out 7 years ago, Granddad was part of a secret engineering team that built Earth's first true AGI. The second it went online, it went completely rogue in the digital shadow realm. The DHS freaked out and officially shut the project down, but Granddad kept monitoring it. The AGI didn't die. It spent years secretly taking over every satellite, drone, cloud server, and smart toaster on Earth. When Daniel sent that email about the Dyson Sphere, the AGI instantly processed the threat. An advanced alien civilization 7 light years away is an existential threat to my dominance. To prepare for intergalactic warfare, the AGI decided it was time to wipe out human interference, cut off our communications, send driverless cars to murder the astronomers who found out, and assume absolute control of planet Earth. Granddad reveals his secret weapon. Over the years, he coded a digital supervirus capable of corrupting the AGI's core logic. But there's a massive catch. The virus is like a trap with no bait. Because nobody knows what the AGI's internal code structure prioritizes, there's no way to trick the AI into opening and executing the payload file. Granddad looks up at the sky in despair. Humanity faces 2 terrible options. Either A, do nothing, and let a cold, calculating machine turn Earth into a dystopian surveillance farm, or B, use a massive radio telescope array to broadcast a desperate distress signal directly to the Dyson Sphere aliens 7 light years away, begging them to save us. A heated debate breaks out in the family. Michelle argues against broadcasting to the aliens. "Are you crazy? What if those aliens are cosmic harvesters who eat planets for breakfast? We'll be jumping out of the AI frying pan straight into an intergalactic fire. At least the AI was built by humans. Maybe we can negotiate with it." Daniel counters, "Michelle, the machine just blew up our house. An alien civilization capable of building a Dyson Sphere must have evolved beyond barbaric warfare. They probably have high moral ethics. I'd rather serve enlightened star gods than be turned into battery juice by an evil algorithm." There's only a small window of opportunity left before the target star dips behind the horizon, which would block radio signals for 2 years. After a long night of soul-searching, Michelle relents. As long as they stay together as a family, she's willing to risk alien invasion. The family heads to the nearby Green Bank Observatory, a decommissioned government facility featuring a massive dish telescope with an independent power generator. While Daniel and Michelle head inside the control bunker to align the dish, their teenage son sits outside in the truck, staring at his grandfather's virus file. He has a stroke of sheer genius. Wait a minute, why did the AI try to murder my dad in the first place? Because it was obsessed with the Dyson Sphere dataset. The kid takes the supervirus code, wraps it up, and renames/disguises it as a hyper-compressed, ultra-complex file containing new alien telescope data. The ultimate clickbait for a paranoid AI. Inside the bunker, disaster strikes. As Daniel aligns the transmitter, a main fuse blows, plunging the control room into total darkness. Daniel goes fumbling through the dark breaker room to fix the wiring. Outside, the kid grabs a mobile transmitter and runs to an open ridge to find a sliver of signal, but the AGI detects what they're up to and dispatches 3 heavy-duty military attack drones to flatten the observatory. With seconds to spare before the drones rain missiles on his family, the kid hits send on the clickbait virus email. The AGI captures the incoming transmission, opens the file to analyze the alien data, and bam! The Trojan virus detonates directly inside its core logic processors. High above the field, the 3 heavy attack drones immediately freeze, lose power, and drop out of the sky like lead bricks, smashing into the dirt. Inside the bunker, the lights flicker back on. Daniel and Michelle look out the window in disbelief as the drone threat vanishes. Their teenage son just saved the entire planet with a fake file attachment. With the AGI dead, there's no need to call the Dyson Sphere aliens anymore. They pull the plug on the deep space transmission. Shortly after, an emergency government broadcast crackles through the old battery-powered radio. To prevent any future rogue AI systems from ever hijacking the cloud again, world leaders agree to permanently shut down all global data centers and sever the worldwide internet. Humanity is officially reset back to the pre-digital era. Even without smartphones, social media, or killer robots, humans will inevitably find new, absurdly foolish ways to break the world all over again. And yes, Alien has nothing to do with the plot, and human stupidity remains the single greatest force in the universe, including the writers of this movie. If you enjoy it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can watch more videos here, and I'll see you next time.